So what we're going to do is we're going to go over a stand pivot transfer, and we're going to go over a slide board transfer. Very similar when we do them, but one just with the board, one without. We want to use a slide board transfer for somebody who can't stand up. If they can't fully stand up and support themselves, there's no way you're going to get them to a stand pivot transfer. So that's why we use the slide board. You always want to make sure you have a gait belt, and I understand that these are the gait belts that you guys are going to be using. There's two sizes. What I would suggest is you take them out of the bag and you find a place where you can hang them, because they curl up, and then when you go to use them, they're all like this and you can't even measure them. So get them out, unwrap them, wrap them the wrong way, and then let them hang so that they don't curl up on you. That's what this will do on you. So with the, when it comes to doing the transfer, you have to make sure everything is secure, okay? Because if anything's going to move, and it does move, then the patient ends up on the floor. So everything has to be locked down. So always make sure your table's locked. Lock the table as it runs away from me. It helps to be smaller, you can see it and reach for it. The other thing you want to make sure is that the table is at its lowest position, because you're going to be using a slide board, and if the patient is doing that to go from here to the table, they'll never make it. And if they're going to have a problem standing, a lot of times you have trouble with strength in their arms as well. And if you don't have arm strength, you can't push yourself up and go uphill at the same time. And they just keep sliding back. So you got to make sure your table is at its lowest point.
What if that's as low as your table will go?
Then you cannot use a slide board. Then that's when you would do the lift. Okay.
Or we would have to find out how high each table goes.
Right, well, that's what she said. If the table
Yeah.
won't go that low, we're going to have to do something else to get them over here, because you cannot go at that angle.
Yeah.
If they can't stand and pivot, and you have to use this, and that's too high, you can't do it. So we looked at the tables in there, and the tables were too high in there, and that's why we're in here. And this is about as high as I would go. I wouldn't go higher than this. That's even going uphill still. The preferred is flat or downhill. The other thing you need to worry about, and especially with tables like this that have the remote on it, is the remote needs to be out of the way. Because if for some reason this is over here and you get the patient halfway, now you got to worry about where this is. If this is down here, you can see that that's going to be hanging down here. For you guys over there, this is hanging down the way. You or the patient may get caught up in that. So always look at the whole situation and say, what do I need to get out of my way so that I don't trip and my patient doesn't trip or catch on something? Because I can guarantee if you get somebody halfway and you're stuck and you have to move something, you either got to get them back or you're going to have to push through it. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt the patient. So make sure that the remote is all the way out of the way. Who wants to volunteer? Okay, have a seat in the chair.
Whee!
Pick your foot up and put it on that pedal, please. And now this way. So the first thing you got to do is you got to get the chair in the position where you're going to want to use it. Obviously, we don't want the leg rest in the way. And in this position, I can't get the leg rest out of the way because it's going to hit the table. So you move the chair away. Go ahead and pick up this one for me, please. I have a habit of always touching my patients so that they know what I'm doing. So if I want them to pick up their leg, I say, can you pick up your leg? And then they know where I'm talking about. Otherwise, they may pick up the wrong leg and you have to redo it. Can you pick up your leg for me, please? Now, you can get the leg rest off to the side. If the chair doesn't come off, just push it out. If the leg rest will come off, take the leg rest and get it out of your way. Because you don't want it, some of them will swing back. If you have some bump the chair wrong, it'll swing back on you. You put the chair at a 30-degree angle, approximately, with the table. Pick your feet up for me, please. Put your feet down. And then you lock the chair. Some chairs will not lock. If a patient comes in with their own chair and they've had it a while, it may not lock. So you may need to have somebody come in and hold the chair. Okay? Because I get lots of patients in my office that their chairs, their wheels don't lock. So have somebody else come in and hold the chair for you. Better that you have 2 people doing it than you get hurt. Okay? Get your arm up. Then you got to take the armrest off. Get it out of the way. If the armrest doesn't come out, you can't use the slide board. Because the slide board won't go in there with the armrest in there. If you're out here like this, you can't get it underneath the patient to get it over there correctly. Okay? Now, I said 30 degrees. If you can't get it at the angle, you might have to get it closer. So we might have to go here. We might have to go here, depending on the chair, depending on the corner, depending on the patient. So you can move the chair around depending on what you need. That's just a guideline. Then you take your gait belt and you put it around. Women, you don't have as many problems as men do. We have more problems when it comes to putting a gait belt on. You never reach in and say, let me put this around you, because if you get someone that's very sensitive, they're going to think you're touching them. Okay? So I always take it with both hands and I say, lean forward, and then put it around them, lean back. And you want it around their waist. You don't want it around their chest. You want it around their waist. If they have a necklace on that's reaching in the way, you got to take it out of the way. Don't want to lock that down. And you want the gait belt to be firm. I always tell patients, this is going to be tighter than you want, but if we start moving and it's too loose, then it's going to slide. And then if it starts to slide and it's up here, now you're in trouble, because the center of gravity is here. And that's why we put the gait belt here, because we want it around their center of gravity. Okay. Take your hand and put it over here for me, please. Balance these over there. And I want you to lean to your side for me. Now, if they can't get their leg up, you may have to reach down and pick their leg up. And then you're going to slide the slide board underneath them. Back down. Now you can get it over. What you want to make sure you don't do is you don't pinch their skin when you go to slide it under them. Okay? They're not going to like it, and they won't be able to get over because you pinched them. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand, and you always have a flat hand. I have bad wrists, I will do this, but most people don't have a bad wrist, and you want a flat hand. Okay? It's easier on the knuckles. And you want to make sure that when they put their hands on here, one, they don't put it in these holes, and they always try to do that because they think they're going to pull on it. The other thing is, you don't want them putting their hand here like this, because as soon as their weight gets over here, they're going to pinch them. Obviously, then we don't want it here, and you don't want it back here. Don't let them grab a hold of the board. You don't want to pinch their fingers when they sit on it. So you're going to put the hand right here like this. This hand goes right there, and I want you to grab a hold of it like this. Right there. Always guide your patient, let them know what you want. So then what you're going to do is you're going to push yourself up, and you're going to slide up this board, okay? So I'm going to get in front of them, 1, so I can guide them, and 2, so they don't slide back. Wait for me. I'm going to put my foot between your feet. That gives me a place to move with them, okay? If I'm back here, I'm leaning more forward. If I'm more out here, I'm more over my leg. I'm using my body to support myself, not using my back as much. You bend down to protect your back. What you're going to do is you're going to push up here, you're going to push up here, and you're going to slide up that. I have my hand on the gait belt, and I can guide her. Now move your hand over here, put it right there. Let's put it back over here. Push up again, okay? Now put your hand here, push up and slide up. There you go. Once they're at this position, I want to get the chair out of my way, and then I'm going to say, can you lean this way? Slide that out. Okay? Easy enough? Do the same thing on the way back. Actually, if I could have you turn this way a little bit. There you go. Now, once you put your hand over there, lean away. There you go. Now, right back on that. Shut down. Okay. Put your hand right here. You're going to push up and slide over there. Let me put my foot between yours, please. Push up and slide over. And because it's downhill, you can see she slides right in.
That's much
Okay?
easier.
Yeah. Okay.
It's slippery.
Anybody want to try it?
I can tell you